Here we have part two of our episode with guitar maestro Darren Housholder. Unfortunately, we ran into a bunch of technical issues such as the audio track that was lacking, my internet that kept crashing. I got kicked out of the whole podcast, the whole chat multiple times. Yeah, it was crazy. So after several attempts of trying to get this thing back on track, we decided to end for the day and pick it up a few days later. It was unfortunate, but we got to end the episode on a high note. Either way, make sure to check out Darren's new album, A Vision for You, and go support Pharma for some quality fitness supplements.
Just like that, it kind of jumps out, just kind of like the bug going zap.
Yeah, okay. So that was the inspiration for the song.
Yeah, no, it was just kind of like, that the surprise.
Yeah, okay.
That one. The songs, this Blue Sunrise is something that I wrote, like the main parts. Like I just got into rehab, man. I was not fucking happy. And I'm like 6 a.m. out on the front porch of this place. And that's 12 years ago. And I wrote this like this. Right? And then I turned it into this. Little Steve Vai in there and the Hendrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole like, and there's a little dime bag.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that dissonance stuff, yeah.
Just
you got so much. I mean, you really wear your like inspirations on your sleeve, sort of. You have your complete own sound and all, but sometimes it just, oh, that's Brian May. Oh, that's Steve Vai. Oh, that's a little Dimebag. Is this like a bit of Eric Johnson sort of stuff? That
we're all a product of our influences, and that's
exactly.
The beauty of this thing is like, dude, I've heard a lot of different guys, and like most of them have gotten in here. I got my main guys. Hendrix. Like this is Axis Bold as Love.
Yeah.
So I had the snake with Hendrix's face in there, and then later I went back and got like the whole. You can see like the lotus flower, the Hindu thing from Axis Bold as Love. So that to me is like the greatest. Like, and Hendrix and Cry of Love, like 1971. That was released after he died. That's the one that has like Easy Rider and Drifting and Angel.
Yeah,
like, dude, Hendrix, like in my soul, like Hendrix is like the thing. That's the guy. Passion and Warfare from Steve Vai, like the greatest instrumental record of all time. Right? I mean, that's the pinnacle. I listen to Dream Theater like every day. Dream Theater. I love bands like Alter Bridge, Seven Dust. I love the Wolfgang Van Halen. But Mark Tremonti's a genius. Like that guy is, and you wouldn't think like Guitar Shred or whatever, but like that guy, like his writing and everything that he does musically, like that guy for me is like one of my favorites. John Petrucci for sure. Kotzen just blows my mind. Kotzen's just fucking. He's
so next level. It's ridiculous.
He sings like Chris Cornell.
Yeah,
He plays and acts and performs like Prince, but he's got
yeah.
the John Coltrane jazz thing going. It's just like, dude, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, no one can do all that stuff.
And he doesn't
Um,
even care if he drops his pick.
Nope.
yeah, no, he's really a cool guy.
Yeah,
Nice dude.
yeah.
But Doug
How
Aldridge, Jeff Coleman, a bunch of these guys are just guys I admire that are cool. Ron Thal, like that dude, that guy's ridiculous. Like
yeah.
that.
Did I read
This,
somewhere that you used to teach John Petrucci at Berklee, or were you
no,
a
we
teacher?
went to Berkeley.
Okay.
I was my second or third year at Berkeley was their loan year that they were there.
All right.
And
Okay.
so it was Mike Portney and John Mayung and of course John Petrucci. But John, I never forget like walking by his dorm room because we're in the dorms, right? So
Yeah.
walking by his dorm room, he's got the metronome on and he's alternate picking, and I'd never seen anyone do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and I was shredding, but I was learning the Yngwie Malmsteen Far Beyond the Sun. I had two cassettes. One that had half speed and the other one was regular speed. And
Yeah.
then I also had a Japanese young guitar. I had a transcript. So I worked on Far Beyond the Sun for probably 4 months to learn that note for note. And in the process of learning that, like I learned a lot, right? I
Yeah.
learned a lot. But I hadn't had the precision of like the metronome that John did. And but those guys would be in the practice room like every night. They would line up in the stairway in the morning to sign up for the practice room, and they were just. I mean, they went to class, but you never. I mean, they were always in the practice room every night. But I knew
Yeah.
that. I know those guys. And there was a guitar night performance, and so John Mayung and Petrucci, and regrettably to this day I regret it. I didn't push to get Mike Portnoy in there, and I feel like I look back at it now and I go like I think I could have, but why? I don't know. I was like I wasn't. It wasn't my class. I was a student,
Yeah.
but I look at it now. You go like, dude, fucking Mike Portnoy. How do you not get Mike Portnoy in there? But I apologized to him. He's just like, and I'm like, no, dude, like, But that's I don't know. Anyway, but and then JD was the bass player. Like the recitals that I did, so I did about 4 or 5 recitals, and I would do Yngwie, like when Paul Gilbert was first coming out. YRO was a thing. Yngwie ripoff, Attitude song, a bunch of Yngwie songs, a bunch of stuff, and this is all like 85, 6, 7, 8 in that era. So
Yeah.
JD was always the bass player and a lot of recordings. So JD, he was the bass player for Zakk Wylde for Black Label Society. But
Yeah.
JD was my, he was my man. Like we played a lot of stuff together. Incredible. And now I get to see him playing these huge shows with Zakk. So it's just like, so him and Ray and some of these guys that are doing big stuff. Like I mean, it's just like, you know. Um, but yeah, so anyway, we got to talk about Billy Sheehan. So
I was
you know,
about to bring him up because you talk about
Yeah.
these guys. Everybody's playing with everybody and know these, but you sort of get Billy Sheehan to play in your album. I mean,
dude, Billy
so
Sheehan,
you're pretty well
he's like
connected yourself.
Yeah.
he's the nicest guy. Like he's just like a savant, like just a chill guy. Like I can't say enough about him. Like as a person, like you just feel it, like just the presence of this guy. And so he lives on the outskirts of Nashville, where Ray lives. So Ray's my buddy, and he's like, "Hey, I can get Billy to play and stuff." So I'd emailed these guys tracks. So when I did those 9 songs, Ava's Dance, I'd sent this. That was like the first tune. So Ava, I'm gonna tell the long story, but so Ray and Billy played on it and emailing them, and then it took me a long time. I sent some more tracks, and so they recorded 5 more tracks, and then it was like, hey, why don't you come here and actually kind of write and work with the guys there and work with Billy and Ray right there. I'm like, oh my god, that'd be great. But so the first song, Ava's Dance, was this. Right, it's a riff. So my granddaughter Ava, so I'm a papa, right? So
Ah, yeah,
Ava's like
okay.
just jamming in the living room, like just jamming, right? And then it just finally turned into this like. You know? So
Yeah,
that was like
it's
the
like
first tune. That was in
Yeah.
2019. So it took like 6 more years to like get all these other songs.
yeah,
But like I found a thing. It was just like, man, I can do this. And so fast forward January, I did the last 3 songs. It was Blue Sunrise, it was Stomp, and it was Salsalita Turkey. You know,
That song is crazy, man.
you know. So I went and just so Salsalita Turkey. There's this fast diminished lick, and Billy's just like doing all this stuff, but he's just sitting in the control room and he's just kind of
yeah.
noodling, and I'm looking over at him, and he's got this smile on his face. I'm like, fucking genius at work, man. I'm like, look at that guy. He's just like, well, let me try it this way. Let me try it this way. So doing all this stuff, and I'm just like, I'm sitting here with fucking Billy Sheehan. So he's played with Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, Ron Thal, Rishi Kotzen, like Paul Gilbert. Holy shit, Paul Gilbert. I didn't mention Paul Gilbert. Paul Gilbert is
Yeah.
dude. His alternate picking and his chops, and I call him the Peyton Manning of guitar. You know, because like he
Yeah.
can audible. He can do anything. Like Paul is ridiculous, and he's like kind of laughing as he's doing it because it's really that easy for him. You know.
But he does those
This is
insane
also
things,
Super
like
incredibly
inspirational
easy.
guy.
when that video
And
where
super like just really a nice fellow, you know.
that video where Paul Gilbert is shredding on a contrabass, like a stand-up bass, where he's just doing like sweep
Yeah,
arpeggios.
dude, the
You're
upright
just like,
bass playing
what?
Black
Where did that
Sabbath
come?
and stuff, and
Yeah.
like shredding. He's just
Listen,
so good. You know,
so I
that's
got
the
a
thing too. It's
question.
just like
Oh,
there's so many great guitars.
I got a question, and what I
Sure.
noticed is because before this was set up, by the time we had set this up, I thought like, okay, I gotta sort of refresh my memory and go back and listen to some of your earlier releases. And what I noticed is because if you take your first solo album, it's got that, like at the time, a lot of those Shrapnel releases, they had a similar production. But what I noticed was that even at that point,
Yeah.
you had a very sort of defined sound. Like it was very clear to you what sound you were going for, what tone you were going for, and I mean this in an absolutely complimentary way. But your sound is not pretty. It's like it's gritty and it's like yeah, it sounds like a like a
Yeah.
chainsaw against metal. It's
No, I
just
mean that's accurate
yeah.
because
But there's still like a warmth to it, though.
I
It's
mean,
not
look,
like
I'm not a flawless alternate picking. I work on my alternate picking first, middle, and last always. Like I'm
yeah.
always trying to get better at alternate picking, and I am just I don't play enough to be super smooth. Like what Al Di Meola, Paul Gilbert, Yngwie Malmsteen, like dude, all these guys, right? So I'm always kind of like just reaching, and I like barely get there, you know. But but I think that's part of like that's just who it's authentic. And then
Very
But there,
human.
but there are those, but
I can
there,
wear a nice suit, but I'm still shaggy. Like I'm never going to be
no, but
polished.
like there are those guitarists who like sort of from the get-go, from when they pick up the guitar, they know what their sound, what they want it to sound like. But then there are those like, like Eddie Van Halen. He was just like on this constant, almost like mad scientist quest to perfect his tone, you know. It was always like tweaking it a little bit, and okay, if I drill a hole through the guitar, it's gonna make it sound, you know, in a different way that is closer to what I'm aiming for. But to me, it seems like
Yeah, I'm
you
not
had
that
a
guy.
sound. Nah, you know exactly how you wanted it to be. Because if you take the first album and your newest album,
Yeah,
the
it's
sound
the
is the
voice is
guitar
coming
sound.
out.
Yeah,
You know.
exactly. And that comes back to what where we started, you
Yeah, for
know.
me, it's just the voice that's coming
Yeah,
out. It's just like that's what. Yeah.
yeah,
I pretty much plug straight in,
yeah.
and I'm not a flawless picker. I mean, I remember Mike Varney going, it just sounds kind of sloppy. I'm like, sloppy?
Thank
And
you.
then he played me some Greg Howell over the phone. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I am kind of sloppy. Fuck. Gotta
It's
play
like,
me Greg Howell and Richie,
but
Marty
I think
Friedman, Jason Becker.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that sloppiness,
but yeah, I
Here's the
mean,
sloppiness.
it adds to the yeah, because I mean, especially nowadays with the whole new era of like these, you know, young kids on Instagram that are like, you know, shredding their asses off. It seems like there's this chase for like perfection, you know, where every single note, you know, is supposed to sound, you know, 100% clean, and it almost sounds like something out of a Nintendo game because you know, it's so perfect. But I
yeah, no,
like
it
that
does
kind of
exactly.
Yeah.
rawness. It adds soul to it, you know, it adds
Yeah,
character.
yeah. I
And
mean, look, that's rock and roll to me.
mm,
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if I'm playing classical or if I'm playing jazz or I'm playing any style, I mean, there's gonna be a rock and roll element, and that's just like just fucking go for it, man.
mm.
And
Yeah, I mean,
I'll
I
get
just
there, but maybe only barely, but I will I will get there. It might not be pretty, but I'll win. You know?
Mm.
yeah, exactly. And also,
How
like,
was it like?
well, I remember albums like in periods of like Gary Moore still got the blues. He is sloppy too at times, but he's fucking great at being Gary Moore, you know. And same with Slash. I mean, Slash has his own way of playing, but it's also like the most recognizable player in like the last
Oh,
40 years.
talk about a
Yeah,
signature.
yeah,
Talk about a
exactly.
signature
So
when you hear it. And
Mm.
yeah,
I didn't even mention Slash, but Slash, especially when you see him with the sunglasses on and he's up on stage and he's shredding, I'm like,
it's
he's a
just
shredder
iconic, you know. Yeah,
in
yeah,
disguise.
yeah,
But he grew up in the same era that I did. So he definitely was he learned his Ingve and his Steve Vai and his Paul Gilbert licks like he did too. But you would
yeah,
never know it because he's slashing who he is. But when you watch him play, you're like, dude, this guy shreds like
Yeah,
seriously more in a pentatonic way and not sweep arpeggios and all that stuff, but like Zach Wild, they have a very traditional older school, but they just
yeah,
do it so much better than everyone else. Like they're
mm.
yeah,
not doing this. They're just doing this. And it's just fucking just it's like Joe Perry like on steroids. Like
Yeah.
Slash has all those slippery, cool bluesy licks and it's like it's just infinitely interesting. That's the difference.
that's the part.
It's
Like it's
infinitely interesting. Like,
infinitely
where's it going?
interesting. Good.
Whoa,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And I mean,
And that's
So
really
what
it.
was?
Like, if you're,
Oh, no, I was just curious. Like, what was like a defining moment for you where you
yeah.
decided, like, this is it. I'm gonna pick up the guitar because, you know, with Steve Lukather, he saw Beatles on the TV, and then he was like, yeah, I want to play guitar. And with Yngwie, it was like he saw Jimi Hendrix burn his guitar on Swedish television or something, and then he was like, that's it. You know, that was the defining moment for him. Did you have a moment like that where you just felt like this is
Um,
it?
Not really like this one thing. It's just like I wanted to play. Like I like what I was hearing. I heard rock guitar and I was like, that was cool. Like I like that. I wanted to. I played baseball from the age of 5 to the age of 15, and I got to the point where like the coaches were just fuck. You know, if your dad wasn't a coach, in the favoritism, I was just like, you know what, fuck these guys. And the kind of the rebel spirit, and then hearing Aerosmith, I heard Aerosmith, you know. I heard when Night in the Ruts came out, and then just a game from Triumph. I think Renegade from Styx. There was rock stuff. Like I was listening to like top 40 radio. Like this is like 1980, so like 1978, 1979. I mean, I started playing guitar right when Back in Black came out. Not because of that, but because Back in Black came out when I started, I learned every song on Back in Black, which is like when you're first learning how to play rock guitar, you should learn every song on Back in Black. You should learn every AC/DC song for that matter, right? But
Yeah.
great place to start. And so I was just learning, but I started playing 1 month with an acoustic and this fucking teacher, and I'm just like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I met a buddy that he was like, hey, here's the rock guitar guy in our town, Dave Smith, really
Yeah.
good. So I started with him, and he taught me these songs. But Dave taught me pentatonic scales. He taught me the mode scales. Taught me chord progressions. Taught me like, dude, I learned the key stuff like really early on, really early on. And so I had nothing else to do. I'd come home from school, play the guitar. I would deliver my paper route and had a paper route. That's how actually I bought the Strat. It's like I was at 3 different newspaper routes for years. So all my paper route money went into that fucking guitar right there. And that's, anyway. But then I'd play it until I went to bed at night. So I was playing the guitar like 5 or 6 hours on like a ninth and 10th grader. And by the time I graduated from high school, I didn't go to college because the guidance counselor said, "You're not really college material," is what he said to me. And
Thanks.
there was Juilliard. We didn't know we didn't know there was Berklee School of Music. We didn't know there was GIT. We didn't know that then. So I was like, okay, well I'll get up at 8 in the morning and play music till 6 o'clock at night. Then I'll teach guitar lessons. Then I'll play till midnight. I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and I'll do it all again. So I was playing guitar 16 hours a day. I'd go to the library. I'd get books. So I was self-educating myself. So then I figured out, well, you can go to Berklee or you can go to MI. I chose to go to Berklee because I really wanted to make music like a whole life. And I really wanted a 4-year, the best education I could possibly get. If I had gone to LA in 1984,
Dangerous.
well,
Well,
Yeah,
like maybe I would have been in, I'll do a fast forward. So then I went to Berklee, and then I graduated from Berklee, and I taught there. Like in 1988, I graduated, and I taught there. And then I'm sending in tapes to Mike Varney and to John Sticks, a Guitar for Practicing Musicians. So there was 2 record labels. There was Shrapnel Records and Guitar for Practicing Musician. Now, at that time, Shrapnel just came out with Richie Kotzen. They already had Marty Friedman, Jason Becker, Paul Gilbert, like all those guys. And then Blue Saraceno was on Guitar for Practice. So I was sending
yeah.
tapes to both guys, and they would write me a letter back saying, not quite, not very good, whatever. So I kept writing and sending songs. And then finally Mike Varney says, hey, Dawkins broke up. My friend Jeff Pilson is auditioning guitar players. Why don't you send him a tape? I sent him a tape, and he sent me stuff. He goes, okay, fly out and audition. And they'd been auditioning
Okay.
guitar players in LA for like 4 months. So I flew out to LA, and I got the gig. So it was like,
Wow.
we're moving from fucking Boston to LA. Like, thank God that happened. We got out of fucking Boston. Not that it's a bad place, but if you're trying to make it in music, it's not a good place to be. So me and the wife loaded up the truck and we moved to Beverly, and we actually Van Nuys. I thought it was Van Nuys. It's Van Nuys.
I did too,
So
but
we
I'm
moved.
Danish, so I'm like excused.
legally
We're
excused.
going to Van Nuys. Where's that? Well, it's in LA. It's on Sepulveda Street. No, it's Sepulveda. No, it's Sepulveda, and it's Van Nuys. Okay. So we moved here, and I'm playing with Jeff Pilson and Vinny Appice from Dio in a band called War and Peace, and we got a record deal, and then the record company dropped us. And then
Fucking hell.
Mike Varney's like, hey, you want to do a record? So I did this 1991 Ominous Guitars where everyone had a song. I had a song called Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood. This this funky thing, right? And so that was kind of my niche. Like I'd found the funky thing, and I already wrote like all the songs on my first instrumental CD. But when the band dissolved, Mike Varney's like, hey, why don't you make a record? So in '92, I made my first record. And that's where like all the funk stuff and all this stuff I've been doing while I was in at Berklee and out of Berklee all came to fruition. But then when the
Yeah.
record was released in '92, I'm like, dude, I'm just in a room all day by myself playing guitar, teaching music lessons. Like, I want to play in a band so bad. So these are the kind of the good stories I guess people want to know. So,
Yeah.
David Lee Roth was not looking for like this type of thing at that time. I think that's when Jason Becker got into David Lee Roth, and he was doing that blues thing with like Ry Cooder and all that stuff.
Yeah, I remember that. It was actually really
So
good.
not interested in people like me, what I was doing. And then, so I got to, so Blackie Lawless is looking for a guitar player, and he just released Crimson Idol.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
I went, so I got the gig. So I learned all the songs. I had my little chart. I'm a good student. So I learned, everything. Playing rehearsals, everything's cool. A week through rehearsals, he's looking at me. I know the parts. Bruce Cooley played on the album. Amazing guitars. That album, Crimson Idol, was really, really like very Pink Floyd like metal. Really, really good album. Learned all this stuff, and then one day over lunch, I was like, "So we're gonna play 5 Monsters of Rock shows in Europe, like 5 humongous shows." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"So what do you think about a guitar solo in the middle of the set?" And he deadpans and he looks at me. He goes, "Why don't you just open up the show?" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" So the next day, so we finished lunch, and then we play, whatever. And the next day I come in, and the keyboard player meets me at the door. Is like, "Take your
You're
shit and
out.
get out of here, dude. You're fired." I'm
Fucking
like,
hell,
"What?"
man.
He fired
Dude,
me for that.
that's like the
Wow.
most.
Yeah.
That's
And
like
then I
Well,
was, then I joined Enough's Enough. I was in Enough's Enough for a weekend, and I was up there in Chicago, and I learned the first 2 albums, all their stuff. Went well, they liked me. And then we went back to the apartment studio and we were recording. They had written the Strength CD, so they had the demos on their like 8-track or whatever in the apartment. So I'm like, hey, plug it. So I'm playing guitar to the stuff, making parts, making little melodies and little licks. And we stayed up all night. And it was just like a story. Like, I mean, it is what it is. And they offered me shit. And I'm like, no, I was having some drinks, but I'm a good student. So I'm like really doing my craft. Right.
yeah.
And then their guitar player, like, I don't know, like they kicked him out because Derek was, on heroin and all this stuff. And then they had they changed their mind and they decided that, they wanted to give him another chance and they were going to send me home. And I'm like, well, fuck, I was in the band for a weekend, so I guess I'm not. So, like how I got into Love Hate, like how
love
that
it.
came
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so again, what I was talking about is that, so this is 1992, and the first Shrapnel record that I did came out, and this has been like just years of like I was in War and Peace with Jeff Pilson. We played one gig, so I
Yeah.
had like these several years of doing a lot of guitar writing, recording, and had a record, but I wasn't really playing any shows, and I really wanted to be in a band. And, especially when you saw like Marty Friedman, the great Marty Friedman joins Megadeth, and Richie Costin, great Richie Costin joins Poison, and Paul Gilbert started Mr. Big, and all this stuff. And it was like, but music had changed so radically then. I mean, this is 1992, Nirvana, grunge is hitting, all those bands. So I wanted to be in a band really bad. And I told the story about I was in, WASP for like almost 2 weeks. I was in
Yeah.
Enough's Enough for a weekend. And it was just funny how it was sort of meant to be, because like that summer, my wife, then girlfriend, we bought this convertible Camaro in Pennsylvania. Her dad co-signed. So it was great. So we drove from Pennsylvania out to California. It's a 3-day drive in a convertible in the summer of '92. And in those days, cassette tapes. And I had Wasted in America from Love Hate and like
Yeah.
Chili Peppers Under the Bridge, and I would just listen. So, fast forward to one of my guitar students says, "Hey, my roommate's getting the Love Hate gig, and you're a better guitar player than him." And I'm like, "Okay, I like Love Hate,"
Backstab.
and it like basically just gives me the number, and I'm like, "Okay," and I'm like, so it kind of, I'm like, okay, so I call and I talk to Skid, and so he told me where basically Hell, California. He told me where their rehearsal place was, this red brick building down near like 7th and Mateo, down in the hood of LA. That's where these guys That's where they started, right? They started there. They got a big record deal. They all got brand new cars, nice apartments. But here they are, like a Columbia, Sony had dropped Love Hate. So I go down there, and I go up and I play with everybody. We just jam. Like I didn't learn any of the songs. Like weirdly, I didn't even know Blackout in the Red Room. Like I really didn't know it. You know what I mean? But and it went the jam. It went well, and they asked me to come back. Actually, what happened when I played with other guys, like Jizzy actually helped me carry my amp and stuff down the stairs into my vehicle, and that was very uncommon for like Jizzy. He's not
A
a
singer
singer.
doing that?
He's not carrying nobody's
What?
amplifier.
What the
He's not
hell?
helping.
Okay.
He's not helping a guitar player lug his gears. Hell no.
Did he
So that was
also
an
set
indicator
up
that
the
he
drum
liked me.
kit?
Yeah, exactly. Like lead singer's not carrying any drum kits, man. He's not doing that. And and then it was like, you're going to come back, and I come back, and it was like, and then finally, like they all had this like kind of a round, and Skid goes famously, "Hey Darren, do you think you can lower your guitar?" No, I was wearing my guitar like not here, but maybe here, and
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. You're in. He's in. So that was
there you
that was
go.
the one
Well,
decide. And so if you've seen me play live, even the shred stuff, my guitar is not as low as Slash, but I had to learn how
yeah,
to basically really be able to play clean with a guitar a little lower than normal, or normal for
it's an
shred guy.
important struggle. It's an important struggle because it does look cooler.
So this is the
A
one
lot of
thing that
times when
guitar
it's
players don't really often talk about. But
yeah, but
like,
hey, you have to look cool, man. Sometimes when I watch videos by like these modern bands, they play great, but and it's really complicated and polyphia and all that. But the guitars are like they look like the guy from Level 42 playing bass.
it looks
It's like
lame. It's just it
it kind
doesn't
of
look
looks lame,
cool.
and I know you play better that way, but sacrifice a little bit of sound for a little bit of cool. I think that's worth it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
for
to
me
stand
that
up
was
and play
always a
that way.
challenge because as you see, I'm born with this hand.
Oh,
This
Yeah,
yeah. So
wow.
I'm naturally right-handed, but I play left-handed guitar. But
Wow.
this arm is shorter, a bit shorter than the right hand. So when I play the guitar, my hand doesn't sort of like if I put it too low, my arm won't reach the strings.
Yeah,
So, so it's like I can't play it like that, right? So I kind of have to have it up here,
gotcha.
and it doesn't look cool.
yeah.
So when I was younger and I was looking in the mirror, standing with the guitar, I'm like, this doesn't look right. This doesn't. I don't look like Sag Wild. I look like I don't know. This is just not right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zach's one of those guys that like he plays low, but when there's a
Yeah.
real difficult passage, that's what the stage monitor is for. You put your foot up on
Yeah,
there,
put
get
on
up a little
monitor.
Yeah.
thing, just kind of rip it. But no, I mean playing the Love Hate was for me like the boot camp I needed to be a real rock guitarist. We rehearsed every single day, like 6 days a week. We rehearsed, we recorded, we played a lot of shows. You know, Skid, the bass player, is like a flea, like a heavy metal flea, like a great performer. Jizzy,
Yeah, yeah.
great frontman, lead singer, flying around like an acrobat. Um, and they famously said to me one day, something to the effect of like, leave the comedy to the comedians. In other words, like, let us put on the show. You just don't suck, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have things divided in the band. So this is your job, this is your job, and
Play
I'll be the
Was
well,
this
guy
a
on. Yeah,
don't suck.
was
yeah,
this around the time when Jizzy he did the whole thing with crucifying himself on the Hollywood sign?
So that was right before I joined the band. So okay, so
Okay.
when I say so Love Hate was signed Blackout and Red Room. I think it was 90. Wasted in America was like 91. Maybe it was 92. And then Columbia, Sony. I mean, dude, they had like post Guns N' Roses. The big labels were looking for the next Guns N' Roses, right? And so Love Hate was to be the next Guns N' Roses. They got $1 million record deal, and they were going to be, I mean, fabulously famous, right? and they toured with Razor's Edge, AC/DC, Razor's Edge. They played like 50 arena shows in America. I mean,
Fucking hell, man.
but the Blackout and Red Room album, it didn't go gold or platinum. I mean, the reality is the band and the songs were amazing, but the record just didn't sell. I mean, for whatever reason, it was huge in the UK, but in America, it was just rock radio in America. It sucks. I've been a Sirius XM radio guy for 30 years because I never would ever listen to the radio. It's horrible in LA. It's absolutely the worst. But and so that was the problem with Love Hate. It's like they had all this great shit and just the label that just didn't sell. So they got dropped. And so
It's funny you mentioned that with England. It's funny you mentioned England where Love Hate was huge because I know the guys that plays with Jizzy in England. I'm in a band with the bass player in Warrior Soul. And Jizzy is still like headlining these hard rock hell festivals and
yeah.
stuff over there. Yeah, like every year. There's always like a 10 gig tour where there's a lot of festivals and stuff in. So Love Hate is still a big thing in England.
Yeah, and so when I joined the band, I joined the band, and basically the beginning of '93, we did like a 10-week tour of the United States. Let's Rumble came out in the UK, and we were over there. I was in the UK July of '93 for 3 weeks. And that 3 weeks, we did a BBC recording. We did like 10 in stores where like there's kids lined up for 4 hours signing stuff, and then 10 shows. We played the Astoria in London, 3,000 people or whatever. We played the main stage at Rock City, Nottingham, the big stage.
Yeah.
I remember playing Nottingham, and I remember walking out. It was just like I felt like Slash for a minute because like the big speakers and the walkways. And everyone was singing the lyrics to the Love Hate songs. And the hair on my arms just rose. It was like this magical moment, like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing, But a tribute to how big the band and how great the songs, and I mean, it's great stuff. And just sucks that it didn't blow up. But, but it's nice that Jizzy goes back there every year and just keeps that. There's a lot of people love that stuff, man. And
yeah. Would you consider going to England again?
Yeah, I would love to. Look, Jizzy has this band that's in the UK. The guys all live there, and I get it.
Yeah.
Easier, cheaper, all that. The guys are great. I mean, would I love to go to get? Yeah, I don't need to get paid. I would definitely go for free. I would just love to play it, but but honestly, but I understand. But we played Love Hate. We played. Jizzy making an album, like he's in Quiet Riot, and he's been in all these bands, but he's making Jizzy Pearl Love Hate. So the third record that I did with him, was called Punk. What the fuck is it called? Punk Fiesta.
Punk Fiesta.
Yeah.
That's like, okay. So he calls me and he's like, the record, the songs, they're very really punk, and I'm like, Jizzy, I'm not a punk rock guitar player, man. I go, dude. I can wear different hats, but man, I'm just not punk rock at all, And so anyway, so the songs have that kind of street punky edge to them, different than the other two records that were really great rock, different characters. But this one had more of some of those elements, and I was able to basically, take his guitar parts, add my salt and pepper, And so Punk Rock Fiesta is a great album. Like every song has its own character, just really interesting, cool, like attitude. I get the rip pretty much through a lot of the stuff. But
that's kind of what I took from that album because it has like sort of like the first time I heard extreme pornography. I didn't really know what it was because it was a bit in both camps. Really, it was sort of like Red Hot Chili Peppers, but it was also like it was also Skid Row, So there's something in there that just works, and it has that duality to it, and it makes for very like original, a very original.
The important thing is that he's not rehashing like what he's already done. It's not like he's trying to sound like. No, it's not that at all. It's like it's a new chapter, a new book. And all the three
Yeah.
records that I've made with Jizzy are just that. They're just, it's a completely different book. The songs are consistent with that thing. And that's just been, I mean, it's been great to be involved in that. Like I've been playing guitar all my life, but like I still grow and get better, and the experience like added a lot to my musicianship, and the challenge of it was all just great for me.
Yeah.
That's what I tell myself, because I didn't get paid, so I say, well, it was a good experience. No,
Yeah. Well.
it truly was. And I don't fucking care
Yeah.
about. I don't want to get. I just want to make music. I mean, I'll pay.
Yeah.
I want to make music. So I love the opportunity. It was great.
I thought I thought that like um I think there's this song called "The Devil Went Down." Am I right?
Oh, yeah, that
Something in
one.
the line. Yeah, that one.
It's a
It's got
badass
like
tune.
exactly, and I like how it's sort of like dragging. It's a bit more slow. Um,
Yeah, that's a
and
fucking
and
great tune, man.
exactly, and it gave me some sort of like Alice in Chains vibes, and I thought that was such a cool little
Well,
thing for
yeah,
that
the
album. Yeah,
the harmonized vocal, and it's
exactly.
I don't even remember like what the odd time signature of the riff was, but it definitely had that. But then there's also this like kind of I mean, it's a song about like the hangman, and so there's a little like a Bon Jovi, but a really dark, like deathy, like more a morbid, cool,
Yeah.
kind of like almost of like that Western rock thing that like the what's the Bon Jovi song I'm trying to think of?
Wanted
Probably
Dead or
Dry
Alive.
County or Wanted Dead Alive. I'd say.
Wanted Dead Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah.
of like a
Yeah,
dark version of that, the way it is. But no, that there you go. I mean, the stuff like that. Um,
but
yeah,
I
there was
think
a
even
song.
you, like as you said that, Jizzy, he wrote like the guitar parts, and you added your salt and pepper to it. But I mean, your salt and pepper is quite strong, because when I listened to it, I just assumed that you had written all those guitar parts, because to me
I
they sound very much like you.
I
So
kind of did
whatever
too,
you,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, credit goes to him for writing them. But yeah, I just squeeze. When I'm playing, man, I dig in, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's the beauty. It's so fun, man. It's so fun playing guitar. It's so
Agreed.
fun to record something and hear it back and go, listen, yeah, I hear that. Like, fuck, dude. Like, that's like being 15, you know?
Yeah.
It's
That would be
cool.
like the greatest final thoughts on this interview. So, any final thoughts? It's so fun to play guitar.
Yeah, man. Just feel like when you're 15, and you're like, you just wanted to like crank up that Marshall, just want to play, man. Like James Hetfield, I heard him say, it's just like standing close to the Marshall and playing a riff, and the hair on your
Yeah.
arms comes up. It's like, fuck, like that. Like that ain't
Yeah.
disco, man. That ain't a lot of
No.
other
That
things. And I
ain't
like a
disco.
lot of music, but that's what that's
Yeah.
what metal music does to you, man. I love
Yeah.
metal music. I love the heavy stuff, man. I hear Korn, and I hear, I mean, I like metal music. To me is even like progressive, like Dream Theater. I listen to Dream Theater like fucking every day. There's just there's heavy, there's complexity, there's depth, like the guitar, the drum, the keyboard. I mean, everything. I love music, and playing guitar is like fitting in there somewhere, and kind of, and especially like recording and finishing a song and recording and have it be released is like the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Which brings us full circle to, a vision for you. This album, like I've been playing, and I've been playing on other people's records, but to actually like complete a song, and then complete like 9 of them and record and finish them and go, okay, it's done.
This is
Don't try to
mine. I
change the
did
bridge
this. Yeah.
anymore. There's a
Yeah.
certain satisfaction. It's like, well, you've recorded it, so like it's finished. Like you can't go back and say, well, I could have played the melody better in that. No,
Yeah.
it's done, dude. It's done. Go on
Yeah.
to the next one. Okay, can I go? Yes, go on to the next one. Because we'll never finish. You know what I mean? Like you
So,
have that, like, you know.
I was
Yeah.
wondering with with your new album out, and because earlier you talked about how you retired from music for quite some years. quite a few years. How so with the new album out now, do you feel like that kind of inspired you to say like I want to keep on doing this? Like I
Yeah.
could like could you see yourself
Yeah.
putting out another album?
Yeah. No, I have like 4 more songs. Two of them are kind of finished, and a few more that I've kind of opened up the can of worms on these a couple of things. Man, look, I want to get out there and play and be on a bill with some of the great guitar players that are out there, because they have a big audience, and I'd love to be able to open act for some guitars and go out there and like go around Europe and play and just
Hmm.
play the stuff. I've got a back catalog of stuff. My first Shrapnel record. There's stuff that people like Shrapnel fans know some of those tunes. Never seen me play them. I got a new record.
Yeah.
But the answer is just to kind of do press like this, keep people to hear that I've got music out. Hopefully they like it. But I need to keep writing and recording. It's going to take a couple of these, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3
Yeah.
albums where like there's some momentum builds, and there's some of that. Maybe I can open up for Andy Timmons someday. That guy's
Yeah. Yeah.
phenomenal, man. Have you listened to Andy Timmons?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah,
ages. Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I love
And
that
he
guy.
aged really nicely as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
we were both at Washburn, like in 1988, 89, like Washburn. We both played, like, took turns, like at a NAMM show. And so I've known him that long. But
Mm.
like what he's done with all the Beatles stuff, like his playing, writing is just so lyrical. Like, but there's all these other guys, like, look, Steve Vai's the greatest, Yngwie Malmsteen. There's all these great guys. Andy Timmons he's like one of my favorites. Like I would just rather listen to someone that, like, I just like their music and their melody and their songs. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? For me, it's like, uh, it's great. All the playing, like, that's a requisite. Like, it's almost like, who cares? But like, what are you doing with it? Like, what is the song, the melody, the parts that like make you go, and that's what I try to do with my stuff is like I said before, I'm not the cleanest, most shredosaurus guitarist. Dude, I play like an hour a day. Like, I don't play 10 hours a day like I used to.
Yeah.
I used to be like a clean shredosaurus, but I don't have that much time. But what I do have is, like, I have this in here and I come up with a part. And after a while, a few months, 6 months, 6 years, I have like 9 songs, and they're just all different.
Yeah.
And really
Um,
and really great as well.
yeah,
It's a
no, thank
really
you.
good album.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
Here's an
yeah,
idea, Darren.
oh, sorry. Yeah, Dennis.
yeah.
Here's an idea. Since you have 4 songs already, the Darren Householder Christmas shred, like EP.
So I
Yeah.
used to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I've done like
Yeah.
Joy to the World and like heavy metal and tapping
Oh,
arpeggios,
okay,
and
you have.
I
Okay, yeah.
sent them to people, and you know, and stuff. But no, I mean, I have, I've got this thing in 3.
Yeah.
Kind of like Full in the Rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great.
You know, I call it montage a trois.
Oh.
Not menage a trois, but montage.
Dude, you got
Um,
like some of your song titles, they're like fantastic.
there's a story behind every one of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Zapped. I had to buy
Yeah,
all these like little mosquito zappers because like we were like, dude, I had all these little gnats, and then it goes, you get electrocute them. I'm like,
No, but as you said before, with the you'd like to kind of get out there with some of this music, with your Berklee background. I mean, you're not just anyone. You got mad skills, and your theory and all this stuff. I could totally see, like with this whole new wave of guitarists coming out now, that you could do like really solid clinics and stuff like that.
yeah, I would love to. I knew that's where you're going with it, and I really enjoy teaching. And it really bothers me that there's so much of the instructional stuff out there is just horrific. It's fucking terrible. It's like,
Agreed.
I can
Yeah.
tell you. Okay, so check it out. There's 5 chords, not 1,200. There's 5. Actually,
Yeah.
there's 3, and those chords are E. Basically, you have E, A, and D. So
Yeah.
your 3 bass strings, right? So you have an E major, an A major, and a D major, and then a C major and a G. Each one of those 5 shapes is a bar chord. So you should be able
Yeah.
to play a G major using an E form, a G major using a D form, a G major using a C form, G major using an A form, and a G major using a G form. Yes, a G form. Because the G form, so here's my A. But you take away the G and you have this. So there really are, I mean, so there's 3 bass strings, the
Yeah.
C and the G,
And
5
5 chords.
chords. And then
Yeah.
you take that shape and you learn the minor 7, major 7, dominant 7. And where's the 9 in this shape? Well, it's here. Where's the 13 in the shape? It's here. So you learn those couple of shapes and you learn the
Yeah.
notes inside them. And then there's your chord theory of 1,200 chords, all the common, they're all right there within just those couple of shapes. But then also those shapes become arpeggios, and arpeggios to play full 6 strings, but also little string groups like these, and then you do them
Yeah.
then you do it like that. So those are just triads, and then you got your 7th chords. All this stuff. So
Yeah.
I get frustrated when I see these teaching things. I just go, man, you're fucking confusing people. Shame on you. You fucking
Yeah. But
goof. Fucking hate
Come
these
on,
people. They're
but
just
come on.
educators
It's
are
like
just fucking clueless, dude. It's
I think
not that
we need
hard.
an REH Darren Householder tape now
Seriously,
Starlix.
on VHS.
Yeah.
dude. I mean,
Just like back
let's
in the day, man.
stop this fucking nonsense and just give people the simple truth.
Well,
5
you gotta
chords,
do a video.
you know. No,
Exactly.
I'd
Yeah.
just be like this too. I'd be like, look, stop this bullshit. Here it is, and don't be a pussy. Put on your metronome slow and just alternate pick. The other thing is
Huh?
tapping your foot when you pull your guitar out of the case.
Yeah.
You should have a thing. And so when your foot's going down, your pick goes down. When your foot goes up, your pick goes up. So you should synchronize
Yeah.
this. And if you lock into a metronome or a drum machine or something, if you lock in and you keep this, and then when you're playing your scales, you play your scales in time, right? So the emphasis is being in time, playing clean, and then you speed it up, etc. But you're synchronizing yourself. It's not just playing the thing and memorizing it. You're playing it in sync and in time and clean. And you do
You're
that with a pentatonic
pulsing.
scale, most
Like,
scales.
yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
That's where the edge of insanity pre-workout comes in, because when you chuck
that's the
that and
motivator.
you tap the foot and the pick and it goes like
Yeah, start playing
Then you
faster.
do Malmsteen's Rising Force. Your foot is falling off.
Yeah, that's the difference between playing for 30 minutes and playing for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Um,
do think you should make an instructional DVD. That would be fucking awesome.
no, I'd love to.
And,
I have
and
the
and I
book
might
I'm going to
actually
write will be.
know some people who could be
No, I would
interested in
love it. I
setting
need
that up.
someone to kind of whatever do it on my own, but the
All right.
motivator, someone to help me kind of. What I'm saying is someone that has done the book because I got the information. So how do I get it out? Is it a computer program? Because all
Yeah.
I've done before is just write it down. But I've got 10 pages of everything you need to know about the guitar, and then each
Yeah.
page of the book pulls out into a 4 by put it on your wall, because it'll
Yeah.
be a chart. So it'll be I've created a theory chart that's like the multiplication table. See how a multiplication table you have 1 through 12, 1 through 12, and you find that 9 plus 9, and you go over, it's 81. Well, I've made a chart for music like that, so you can see the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, C majors in the middle, the dominant keys this way, subdominant this way, and you can go through and you can find what is the fourth of C. Okay, it's F, but it's the 1 4 5 major chord, 2 3 6 minor chord, so it's an F major. So what's the 1 4 5 chords of the key of D? Well, you'll be able to go and say, oh, it's D, it's G, and A major. So how do you know what key or mode you're in? Well, when you have a major chord, you could be an Ionian, Lydian, or Mixolydian. When you have a C major chord, you could be in the key of C, you could be in the key of F, Or you could be in the key of G, you know? So what's the next chord? Well, there's a D major chord. Well, now you're definitely in a key signature of G. So it'd be C, C is a 4, D is a 5. So whenever you have minor or major, a couple, just by the time you get to that second chord, you now know all the neck for what that key is. Once you know what key or mode you're in, you should know all the chords, all the scales, everything that's diatonic for that, everywhere on the neck. And then you're
And they're
free. And
just
then you
like
start,
posters on the wall. You
yeah, and then you
just
start, yeah,
look
you
at
post this on the
them.
wall, and then you start like hearing some melody and some parts. Like you generally will know the framework with that where that's coming from, so you can more easily like learn stuff by ear and actually understand like the chord melody relationships. You know, I can play it in different registers. I can take what the guy did here. I can play it up here. I can chink and chank and improvise around it. You know, and it's like it's a very simple step by step to get there. But these books don't teach you that stuff. This is a bunch of
No,
rubbish to get you to learn 1,200 chords. It's fucking bullshit. There's 5 chords.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
Well, there you go.
Look,
I think it's
looking
pretty
forward to
damn
buying it.
obvious. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's for interview number 2.
Yeah,
I do got to get the
exactly.
psycho.
yeah,
I got to get the
Yeah.
psycho pharma, man. I got this.
So just one
yeah. All right.
last question to wrap it up. So with Psychopharma, do you feel like because I mean there is a new player in town, guitarists that are trying to sort of move in on the on that market, and Ingve has a vitamin pill now. What do you
Fucking joke, man. It's a fucking joke. You know what it is? I say to
I
that
think they're
to that
gummies.
point
I think they're
what
gummies.
to
what
that
is it
point I
called? Like
say,
Rising Force
go ahead.
or
Good luck. You're gonna
Yeah.
see how fucking
Unleash
hard
the
it is.
Fury?
fury.
You're gonna see how hard it is. I mean, go for it. It's just like, and he could say the same thing. He's like, "Look what I just did. You think you can do that? Good. See how now you see how hard it is." So to that point, I say, "Go for it."
Go for it.
Look, I think it's cool as hell. I love Ingve,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
me too. Yeah.
I fucking love Ingve. Ingve, like his music has inspired me and driven me for like so much of my life. That like that man to me could do like he could say fuck off and I'd be like, "Thank you." You know, I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah,
love
Yeah.
yeah.
Ingve, right? So when I see him doing that, I think I'm like, "Yeah, hey man, go for it." But
Yeah.
It's
it's
just like if you say Ted Nugent, you right away associate that with guns or bows or
yeah.
hunting. But when you say Ingve, you know, it's not like the first thing I think is like vitamins.
Well, you know, it's yeah. I don't. I mean, you know, in his space with his guitar and shredding music and whatever and all that. I mean, there are other side, you know, businesses you'd think would make more sense. You know, but for me, I've been selling supplements since 1998. You know, I was selling, you know, the ephedra, Stacker 2, Xenadrine, Hydroxycut, Rip Fuel, all that stuff. I started formulating products in 2004. You know, when you get when you get an ingredient, right? You buy it by the kilo, 2.2 pounds a kilo, and then you have like a formula, and the formula could be like, well, there's 1 gram per serving, and there's 30 servings in a bottle. So if my kilo cost $1,000, I want to find out how much this ingredient will cost per bottle. So I've got all these ingredients, right? And they all have different prices. But what I do is I take the cost of the ingredient. So you take 1,000,000
Yeah.
milligrams, take 1,000,000 milligrams per kilo. You divide that by the serving size, which in this case is 1,000 grams. And then you divide it by servings. So you have 30 servings. And then you have the cost. So you can figure out what that ingredient will cost per that bottle. So then you have a whole formula of stuff in a spreadsheet. So you're calculating what the finished product will cost according to the raw materials. So you might
Oh,
say, well, this ingredient is overhyped. It's not worth it. Or this ingredient, we need to have a 600 milligram instead of 300 milligrams. So you're divide, and then, you know, fuck it. Let me try it and see how I like it. Can I tell the difference between 300 and
yeah.
600, 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000? And so I would try these things and formulate them on an Excel sheet. So I've been doing that for 20 years. So, you know, I know a thing or two about
Yeah.
formulas and ingredients and what I like. So I'm a snob, like with music, with supplements, with my stuff. because I know what I want and I know what I don't want, you know, and whatever. And so that's what I've been doing for 20 years. When I basically retired from music, I just dove into that stuff, you know, and creating a product. I've created so many labels and products and formulas and marketing and stuff. So many of them, if they were songs, I would probably have 20 albums out right now, you know?
Yeah,
But
but
that's the thing.
now you got something more. You know, like
Well, the thing is, I create a product. I can just make fucking thousands and thousands of dollars on that product. What do I want to fucking sit home and write a guitar song for that no one gives a shit about? But see, that's the way I
Yeah,
used to think.
I,
Now I had to switch
yeah,
pivot my thinking and go, man, you do it because
yeah,
you can, because you want to. You do it because it makes you feel. You're not doing it for the money. The product, it's not so much the money either. There's a pride in making a really good product, and you think and you hope it will do well, but you do it really to make something like, if I think it's good, it'll do well. And so it is the
yeah.
same with music. If I like the melody and I like the parts and I like the arrangement, I think other people will do. So it's the same thing. It's just, it's all like, you know what I mean? It becomes the same your pride and like, why do you create something? Because when you create and finish something, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Exactly.
You
Like
know?
Rick Rubin said when asked, "So are you ever worried about what the audience might think?" And he said, "No, I couldn't care less what the audience thinks. I do this for me." You know, like, and if they happen to like it, cool. You know, so but that's
Yeah.
a very nice
Well,
mindset.
I do care what the audience thinks, but you know, admittedly, right? I mean,
It
admittedly,
might be
yeah. I
easier to
mean,
say when you're Rick Rubin because the audience obviously do care as
yeah,
well. You know, but
he's
it
so Darren,
happens. But
I don't wanna, keep you here any longer. You got stuff to do, but I thought just to wrap it up, if anybody's interested in checking you out or Psychopharma or whatever, is there anything you'd like to inform? I'll make sure to
well, yeah,
link everything.
yeah. So I mean, there's a Darren Housholder Instagram. My Facebook has gotten messed up, and I'm still trying to contact someone inside because someone's name got on there, and it's just like, I don't know. I'm just so, but I
yeah,
do like will answer messages. People contact me, you know, I respond, and so there's Psychopharma, you know, Instagram Psychopharma is out there. Um, you know, the CD. I mean, my new record. Let's say it's on. I guess it's on Spotify. It's on
It is.
iTunes. There's a
Yeah.
YouTube link out there it's free. I haven't printed any vinyl or anything. I just want people to hear it. I'm not trying. I don't say I don't care about money, but I really really want people to hear it. And from there, like that's the greatest feeling. That's worth more than money. You know. It's just that the thing kind of gets legs and I get some opportunities to perform. I hope that I keep doing this, making more and more music that I will get some opportunities to perform and do some cool stuff, and connect with people and to doing a teaching thing. I just want to connect with people with music because it's like that is like this whole part of my life that like that's how it began. I got away from it.
yeah. Now
And
you're
I've
going
kind of
full
slowly come
circle.
back to it. And
Yeah,
it's like you can do both. You can be the CEO of Psychopharma. You can release a new album. My family, like the six of us, like we go on trips together. I got a good life. I got a lot of different areas of like love and purpose and all that stuff. That's like I'm fortunate, and I'm a positive influence now. I am anyway, and and you want to shine the light and help other people turn the light on.
Well, you sure do, man. Like you're super cool. I love watching your videos, like your little inspirational talks and stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
You got this great energy about you. You strike me like the kind of person that, just rolls out of bed, does like 6,000 push-ups, goes out and spin kicks a mountain, and then you just shred the guitar. That's
he
awesome,
also
Oh,
man.
does psychopharmaka. So
That
not
yeah,
too.
quite, but something like
Psychoforma.
that. Now you gotta have look, man. The successful guys have routines. And I'm
yeah.
trying to be successful, and I have a routine. And so I rode 12 miles on the Peloton, listening to Dream Theater live, reading Patrick Bet David, Choose Your Enemies Wisely. So I'm reading about business plans, listening to Dream Theater. I pedal 12 miles in 30 minutes, which is hauling ass. Then I do 500 crunches, and then I write a page in my journal, and it takes me about an hour. But I do that every single morning.
Yeah.
That's my morning, and it calibrates me. It helps keep me like all that. So like whatever God throws my way, I can handle it, and
Yeah.
I have a connection to a power that's greater than me, and all that stuff. And man,
That's
it's
awesome.
Well, here's to doing what you want because you can and because you want to. That's fucking
Exactly.
awesome.
yeah,
That's awesome.
it's just just kind of just start heading the right direction, and you'll see day by day that like more will be revealed, and it'll be great. So people that are struggling,
Awesome.
I want to say that people that are struggling, there is a way out. I was struggling. I found the way out, and it's made an incredible difference to me and every single person that knows me, and everyone that I come across. It's made an incredible difference. And I was not like this 12 plus years ago. My life was completely different than what I am right now. And it's just like, man, I got willing, and I surrendered. I went into this thing, and it's like every day, it's like, man, it's fucking great. And I feel for people that were struggling because I was there too, but I'm not now, and I'm not
Yeah.
stressed. And it's like, this stuff ain't perfect, but that is really that's really the most important thing that I can project to people, is to know that like,
Growth.
there's a way out, man.
Yeah.
And people know this thing is not a secret cult. It's a program. It's a design for living. It's not about not drinking. It's about the thinking, and it's about how we act, and how we can, with the help of others, and you can connect with others, that like it's a we thing. It's not an I thing. And like once you dial into that, it's just like, dude, let me tell you, throw your hands up and get down the slide, because it's fucking great.
Oh, that's beautiful,
That's the
man.
end of the point.
Namaste, motherfuckers.
Namaste. Awesome,
Yeah.
man. Awesome. Darren, thank you
Yeah.
so much for doing this. Thanks for hooking up again after all the technical
Of
issues.
course.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic, and I hope we'll get to have a chat again at some point.
Anytime. You guys are
Awesome,
Yeah.
great,
man.
man.
Thank
Really
you so
appreciate you.
much.
We got to do
Take
this again,
care.
and I'm going to ask the questions.
Yeah.
I'm up for it.
Definitely.
I'm
I'm
going to
up
ask the
for it.
Take
questions
care,
about you
man.
guys.